Josh Gad, what's going through your head right now?
Into the unknown. Over and over and over again. I have two girls, and I came to the realization this morning when they were singing that song at 6:30 a.m. that I'm screwed. I'm officially screwed.
Yeah.
We all are.
It's your fault. You shouldn't have been in the movie.
I didn't write that song. I had nothing to do with it. I don't
But you're in the movie.
I'm in the movie.
The scene stealer, as people are calling you.
Are people saying that?
People are saying that.
Real people?
Real people, yes.
Take it. All right.
I mean, I was at this premiere the other night, and every time you're on screen, these little kids, the laughter that was just coming out of them was just, all they had to see was just see Olaf, you say one thing, and they're just giggles.
I love that.
Is that what it's all about for you?
It really is. I mean, I I love this character so much, and I think that, you know, what's so beautiful about him is he represents such childlike wonderment and innocence. And I think that that's something not only that kids can relate to, but also I think like all of us have an inner child. And we live in a world that's so cynical, right? Like that's always just like down on everything. And I think seeing a representation of just a glass is half full kid-like quality is a really refreshing different take.
How good is it though to go to work and not worry what you have to look like? You just roll out of bed.
For someone like me, it's great. That's pretty much a Wednesday in the Gad house. No, it's so nice. I get to essentially just go in like loose-fitting clothes and just run amok in a booth and just have a blast. It's always much more fun than 2 hours of makeup.
And you've done a lot of voice work. So my question for you is, do you think there should be an Oscar for a voice performance?
Oh, that's a good question. Why not, right? I think that some of my favorite performances of all time, like to me, the fact that Ellen DeGeneres doesn't have an Oscar for Finding Nemo, or Robin Williams doesn't have an Oscar recognition for the genie in Aladdin, is kind of crazy, right? So yeah, why not?
Let's do it. Let's start that campaign.
I don't have that power, but
I don't either.
People who make these decisions do what he said.
And do you get a free subscription now to Disney Plus?
I don't. You know what? I don't care. I saw them run that crazy ad on Twitter where they like rolled out their entire lineup of their library, and I immediately, it got to like 1974, like Pete's Dragon, and I'm like, I'm all in. All right. Oh, Black Cauldron is on there? Okay. All right. I'm going to go on and do this. My kids and I couldn't be more excited.
What is an animated film that you could watch over and over again and you just, every time?
There's so many. I think Ratatouille is a perfect film. It's such a brilliant insight into art and also criticism, which I think is so fascinating. I'm obsessed with Finding Nemo. I think it's just one of the most visually beautiful movies ever. WALL-E. But the movie that had the most influence on me growing up was Aladdin. Like I said, Robin's performance in that movie, it was one of those things where I remember seeing it in the theater in 1993, being a kid. And I turned to my mom and can vividly remember being like, man, I want to do that one day. That's so cool.
So that's what got you started?
Yeah, that was part of what really attracted me to wanting to be an entertainer.
And have you watched the new Aladdin?
I have. It's terrific.
And
it's terrific.
Which one's better?
Which one's better? That's sacrilege. Like to me, nothing can ever replace the original Aladdin, just like nothing can ever replace the original Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Just like nothing can ever replace the original Lion King. And I don't think that those movies are trying to replace them. They're trying to take a fresh approach to a timeless story for a new generation, which I think is amazing, and my kids and I love them.
What's the one film that you can watch over and over again that's not animated?
The Goonies. Back to the Future, Godfather 2.
Goonies, Godfather. Goonies, Godfather.
They belong in the same sentence. I will fight you on it. I think that they both are perfect films.
What's perfect about Goonies?
Oh, God. It's so insane that it exudes brilliance by virtue of the fact that it's one of the greatest, incredible adventures of all time. And also, like I grew up in the 80s and just like having an adventure with your friends and going going on this journey of like self-discovery and just like treasure hunting and all that, just it speaks to me. Tell you what I just saw again on the big screen. I've been trying to do a lot more of these. I love the fact that we're getting re-releases of films. Just saw Jaws again on the big screen. Perfect film. Like, that movie is a perfect film. Raiders of the Lost Ark, another one. There's so many that I'm so grateful, because now I'm getting to discover them, rediscover them with my own kids.
What's the one movie your kids watch over and over again that drives you nuts?
Oh man, Trolls probably. The music from Trolls is so addictive, and so hearing it in the background constantly, I get the Frozen thing now, and I apologize. I think, most of the time I would say that they watch stuff that I really love, so I can relate to most of it and be like, yeah, good choice.
So take me back to when you were first approached about the first Frozen. Did you have to audition?
You know what's really funny is I believe I was the first actor ever involved in the movie before it became Frozen. So before Book of Mormon...
What was it called? Cold?
It was called Anna and the Snow Queen. And I did a reading of it with Jason Biggs, Megan Mullally, this is crazy, Jennifer Goodwin, and that was the core group. And at the time, like, Megan Mullally was playing the Snow Queen, and it was clearly the villain. And Olaf was this guard. He was this like snow guard to Megan Mullally's character, and he was the comic relief, like, traditionally. But it was a very different movie. I go off, I do Book of Mormon. I then am attached to a DreamWorks animated movie called Me and My Shadow. And at the time, Frozen and Me and My Shadow were going to come out within weeks of each other. And I was not allowed to do Frozen because of that.
I'm remembering this all.
And then Jeffrey Katzenberg gave me his blessing, and I got Jennifer Lee, and Chris Buck and the whole group were so wonderful and so understanding, and we're like, let's make it work however way we can. And they made it work, and I don't know what I would do if I had to look back and I had not gotten to play such a wonderful, rich character like Olaf.
Because the other night I was at the premiere, so Evan Rachel Wood told me that she had to audition with a non-Disney song in the Disney style.
Right.
So she did Lumineers, Angela.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you could see it on Variety.com or at Variety at Twitter. And then Idina Menzel said her and Kristen Bell did a duet of Wind Beneath My Wings.
Wind Beneath My Wings. There was a point in which they brought me in to just make sure that I could sing, which was like a formality. And I
What'd
think
you
I
sing?
sang, they must have video of it, but I think I either sang You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. I think that's what I sang, You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me.
Give me a little sample.
Well, Alibaba had them 40 thieves, the Sherazade had 1,000 tales. Master, you're in luck, 'cause up your sleeve you got a brand new badge that never fails.
You got the part. You got the part. So Frozen 3.
No. Frozen 2.
Frozen 3. Come on.
Let's get through this one.
Don't give me that Disney line.
It's not a Disney line. I'll tell you what. We all love these characters so much. This process took 6 years for a reason. And it took 6 years because Chris and Jen smartly realized that unless they really had questions that needed answering, there was no point to doing it again. And once they explored where the characters would be at this point in their life, they realized organically that the story coming from the inside out needed to be told. That not only did these girls need to go into the unknown and face the future. What did
you say? They had to go into the what?
No. But also they had to reconcile with their past, and I think that was a beautiful entry point in, and it's why all of it works so beautifully, and it's why, frankly, the songs are so rich again, because they're coming from character.
Right.
So I think if I trust this group, if they come back and they say, we have a reason to make Frozen 3, I will be all in, because I know that they wouldn't do it unless there was an actual reason to do it.
And last question, what do you think when you hear opening weekend estimated $100 million?
I think it's all... I've been disappointed so many times with expectations that I never allow myself to buy into them anymore. I think that this film is so beautiful. I think that this film is so pure, and I think that this film is as good as the original film, and that is the part that I am still scratching my head that we were able to do that. And from that, I can safely say, don't miss out in seeing this movie, because
opening November 22nd.
Opening November 22nd, because it really, you want to be among the first. There are spoilers. There are things that I worry about people hearing about, and I don't want people to go in necessarily knowing all the music.
Right.
I don't want people to go in necessarily knowing how the story ends. So my hope, whether it's a reflection of the box office or not, is that everybody wants to go see this because they don't want to be left behind, because they want to experience the journey of these characters for the first time with everyone else.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Guy.
Thank
This
you.
was great.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
you. Good to see you.